just bright individuals. Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, and of course, and in the Office of the Prime Minister, and also the Member of Parliament for Mayaro. Let me say a pleasant Sunday evening to Mr. Nicholas Morris. Good evening, sir.
I thank you, Mikey. Pleasant good evening to your listeners, your viewers. It's a pleasure to join you. Congratulations to you, Mikey, the chairman of TTT. After years of hard work, we greet the country, the government, the broadcasting community is very, very fortunate and grateful to have a man of your astute history and services to build one of our national institutions. So congratulations to you as well, Mikey.
Thank you. Thank you, my friend. And thank you for having such confidence in me. I must say thank you. You know, a lot is going on. I mean, you're hearing it, and we always want to bring the facts here to the people, of course. Recently, at a summit in Colombia, you made it quite clear that Trinidad and Tobago does not exist in a zone of peace due to the major effects of narco trafficking and transnational crime. And you urge leaders in the region and, of course, in Latin America to collaborate in pursuing more effective measures in the shared fight against these activities. Very powerful, especially with the backdrop where you have people questioning the role of the United States, some saying that this has nothing to do with what's going on, with boats being blown out of the water, and it's all of that. But honestly, the fact of the matter is that something needs to be done, and something needs to be done, of course, collaborative with others, and to be effective as well. Expand on that, please.
Right, thank you very much, Mikey. Thanks to the Prime Minister, as well as the Honorable Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, Minister Sean Sobers, I was able to lead this country's delegation to CELAC, which is the community of Latin American and Caribbean states. And at that conference, I supported the position of the government, of the Prime Minister, that we do not exist in a zone of peace. And I'll explain this as I did in Parliament on Friday. This has been the position that has been put forward by the Prime Minister at the United Nations General Assembly. It's also the position that the Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs has put forward to the population. And what that essentially means is that in 2014 at a CELAC forum, we would have signed on to agree that peace is an ambition and it is a goal for all countries, which simply means is yes, we would like to have peace. We would like there to be, surroundings where people can enjoy their democratic rights, they can enjoy their property, they can enjoy safety, they can enjoy freedom to participate in society without having their lives attacked or at danger. So we agree on that. However, the reality, the truth, the existing conditions facing Trinidad and Tobago for the last decade, since we signed that and since the PNM took office, is that we do not exist in that zone of peace. We do not exist in that concept. Because when you look at every day-to-day life, before this government took office, you have seen murders. You have seen communities destroyed by the effects of narco trafficking, human trafficking, and transnational crime. And this government, this party, led by the Honorable Persad-Bissessar, won an election, won a constitutional majority at the polls, and was given a mandate to protect the people of this country, protect our communities. And you will recall, Mikey, that in our time in opposition, we would have held anti-crime town hall meetings. We would have held meetings to discuss our crime plans. And one of the things coming out of those meetings was a holistic approach to fighting crime. And you would have seen one in July. We took the step to before July, when we came into office, we put a full-time police commissioner, a substantive permanent police commissioner. We then put 800 SRPs into the police force. We then ensured that the home invasion bill became a reality. So what you're seeing now, where we are supporting our U.S. allies, who have been our allies for decades and for years in this fight against transnational crime, it is simply an extension of the government's approach to ensure that we can eradicate and eliminate the harmful effects that face our country, our communities, and our citizens because of transnational crime and narco-trafficking and human trafficking.
Right. Yeah, and I wonder if people really understand that.
I think the average citizen, Mikey, understands that because they are seeing a reduction in the murder rate as it stands. You compare the murder rate today to last year at this point in time, it was much higher. The average citizen is seeing this country and this government take steps to protect them. However, as I said on Friday, we have been introduced to an opposition culture of irresponsible unpatriotism. What does that mean, Mikey? It means, one, you saw an opposition stand to speak on the merits of alcohol and why it shouldn't increase the price of alcohol. Imagine in this day and age, you are telling us about the advantages of alcohol. Two, you saw an opposition stand to vote against the home invasion bill. And three, what we have seen over the months is an opposition politicize, criticize, and condemn the actions of this government to protect our borders and protect our country from the drug trade. I want to draw reference here to something. The U.S. government has always provided support for Trinidad and Tobago.
Right.
Why now is the opposition chastising that? You see, they're all trying for a political soundbite. They're trying for political points. And they're doing so at the expense of us trying to protect our country. But I believe citizens understand this is for their welfare and their well-being. And it is the minority, led by the opposition, trying to form some level of civil disruption. But we have a duty. The Prime Minister has routinely said, keep calm, one. Two, Trinidad and Tobago will not be used as a launching pad for any attack. Three, we respect the sovereignty and the people of Venezuela. So there's nothing to worry about. This is Trinidad and Tobago, and the elected governors are mandated to protect the people, cooperating, working with an age-old ally, the United States of America, to eradicate and eliminate the effects of the drug trade.
Yeah, I mean, one would have to not really care about this country to even not try and understand that whatever cooperation that we can get from someone, for anybody, as a matter of fact, that would come in and help with the reduction of crime, because we've known for quite some time now that these guns, these illegal firearms, are not even being manufactured in Trinidad. We know that many of these petty criminal offenders that are there, of course, tying up the court with so much backlog, they are not the big fish, as we know for a fact. And yet still you have people not trying to understand exactly what it is that we're trying to seize and arrest when it comes to these transnational crimes that are taking place. How do you get that across? How do you let them understand that, these things affect us when we're trying our best to arrest the situation and make Trinidad and Tobago a safer place?
Mikey, you are spot on. And I want to, just to rehash something I would have said in my debate on Friday. In Friday, I presented two statements to the Parliament, which were made by Keith Christopher Rowley when he was the Prime Minister of this country, to the CARICOM. And in those two statements, he essentially said, and I have it on the Hansard, it's on the Hansard, so if I paraphrase now, the correct exact thing was said on Friday. He essentially spoke about the influx of illegal weapons, the influx of transnational crime, and the influx of the drug trade facing our Caribbean region. And he said in those two meetings that it essentially threatened the well-being of every Caribbean country. So 2023, 2024, twice, to CARICOM, former Prime Minister underscored the crisis facing our Caribbean region. The difference today is that you have a leader who is not willing to sit idly by and allow it to happen. She is taking action, because how long will we keep putting words about the crisis and not dealing with the crisis? So the former Prime Minister understood the crisis. He said it in his speeches, but they took no action because that is their modus operandi. But today, again, on that mandate to protect every citizen, we have taken that action, Mikey, to support our allies in this fight.
Yeah. And of course, you did mention something about SIDS, and I want to share with the general public, which means the small island developing states. You said they have political vulnerabilities due, of course, to the issues such as climate change, economic shocks, and owing to their small size. Yet the gap, and this is important, yet the gap between access to finance for advanced economies and developing countries continues to widen. Have we sold ourselves in the last 9.5 years as a country that has not made the economy, even the regional international market, a priority? And are we paying a price for that now?
I think you've hit the nail on the head, Mikey. Mikey, as it stands, I'm speaking to you from my phone, just having left what I call service Sundays in my constituency, where I tour my constituency, I meet with individuals, I have various training programs. I use my constituency as an example, Mikey. You have a huge significant energy industry within Mayaro in Galyuta.
Yeah.
Then you have the tourism industry. Then you have the agriculture industry. For the last 9.5 years, this country, because of the last administration, has failed to capitalize and to support the ambitions of our people and the resources of our nation, because they have basically suppressed development on the international stage. They initially made this country unattractive for capital investment. But what the Honorable Prime Minister has done from the very start is open Trinidad back up for business. She has made Trinidad and Tobago more attractive. And the proof in the pudding is, one, you saw the visit of Prime Minister Modi, right, when we won the election, right after taking office. Then you saw the Prime Minister at the UNGA, literally sitting with kings, or what you call sheiks, from various countries in the Middle East. And that has now transformed into a real-life visit where Minister Sobers has just gone to the UAE with Minister John and Minister Hussein to deliver on investment opportunity for the people of Trinidad and Tobago based on the revitalization blueprint we launched a few weeks ago. So the whole point here is that Trinidad and Tobago is a small developing state. But with the vision of this government, we are prepared to provide the support for the ambitions of our people and provide the support to match their talents and reinvigorate the economy of this country, Mikey.
Yeah, and again, we're seeing a government that is putting revitalization as a priority, as on the top agenda. And it makes you wonder, for the last 9.5 years, when you talk about, direct international investment, there were some low-hanging fruits that have been there, and we see a government that has made promises on the campaign trail and have delivered on those promises. How long do you think it's going to be before we actually come out of this entire shift of being stagnant and seeing that full effect geared towards getting us back to where we need to be?
Well, Mikey, that is very important. And I want to use the Prime Minister's statements from a few days ago that we cannot reverse 10 years of decimation in a few months.
You're right.
But the main thing is we are on track. And I want to point out and commend Minister Sean Sobers. The Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs has transformed the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, together with the Permanent Secretary, Randall Karim, and other staff members of that ministry, into what they call a delivery ministry. So, of course, you have the standard Ministry of Trade, Ministry of Energy, Finance, Planning. But the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs has now become a delivery ministry, where that ministry, led by Minister Sobers, is out there creating new investment. It is out there creating new opportunities. It is using the relationships of our foreign allies, strengthen the relationships to bring that opportunity to Trinidad and Tobago. It is creating new frontiers. As I've said, Minister Sobers has just left the Middle East with a delegation. So while there's no timeline on how soon we can get out of that slump, what there is there is a direct blueprint, there is a roadmap, and there is evidence of us starting that journey to recovery because of the vision of the Prime Minister, because of the astute decisions taken by the Prime Minister, and because of significant realignments of our foreign policy, of certain arms of government, and we are on that journey for revitalization. We will see the opposition try to be obstructionist, but we will not be deterred by an opposition who cannot even get private members' pay properly done in our parliament.
Okay. I mean, you are the MP for one of a large constituency, Mayaro, and of course I know you've been bombarded with many calls, people talking about these make work programs that the Prime Minister says that, listen, has not been able to benefit the citizens, have not elevated the citizens to a level where they need to be. How is there any sort of challenge when it comes to selling to your people, letting them know that, listen, what this administration is about is sustainable employment, something that you can benefit not just now but generations to come will have a part to play?
I think as a young member of parliament, I always look for guidance and inspiration from the Prime Minister, and we always manage to get that inspiration. The Prime Minister, when she made a decision to end these programs, which have always been just cosmetic and never sustainable, immediately the Prime Minister would have launched the employment program.
Right.
So where all the ministries pooled their jobs together, and there was this massive drive at the Atabolan and the Couva, and we also in Mayaro were fortunate to have a center. They utilized the URP office here in Mayaro, so we directly got a center, so people could have gone online, and people could have gone into that center in Rio Claro to apply for any amount of these 25,000 jobs that were available. And adding back to that is that people understood that the Prime Minister was removing something unsustainable, something temporary, something that really did not appreciate the dynamic, diverse, beautiful skills of our hard-working population, and then putting on the table something new, something permanent, something sustainable, something that could meet the talents of every single skill of workers in this country. But more so, you see, Mikey, the beauty of that program, the 25,000 jobs that the Prime Minister put on the table, these were jobs existing within the establishment, i.e., or meaning, these were jobs always there, but they were just not filled by the last administration. So the Prime Minister essentially was telling the population, these are your jobs, and I'm giving them back to you. So no longer must you depend on political patronage of 10 days or to go on the road. Here is sustainable employment to match your beautiful, diverse skill.
Wonderful. Now, you're also, of course, the Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs. If you were to look at what transpired just a few days ago in St. Vincent, would you say that we're seeing a regional political paradigm shift?
What I would say first is I congratulate Dr. Friday on his amazing victory. Essentially yellow was the code in that country. What I would like to say is that what we saw was a victory of the people based on a campaign that met their needs. While Ralph Gonzalez would have contributed for years in our country and so on, Caribbean community, the questions about this HEC matter, and so many questions were arisen in the population. I think we saw an alignment of people saying for themselves, we want to vote for issues that matter for us. Bread, butter, jobs, stronger economy. And that is what Mr. Friday offered. And I think the realignment in the Caribbean, when I say realignment, it's really an alignment of putting people priorities first. We saw it on April 28th when thousands of people stood with the UNC and our coalition partners because they wanted the core, the basic issues which are they are entitled to: better roads, better healthcare, jobs, better economy. And we saw that in St. Vincent as well.
Yeah, and I think we can clearly say that something is happening. Something is blowing across the political landscape of the region. Closing comments, go right ahead.
Well, Mikey, I just would like to thank the Prime Minister for her very courageous and dynamic leadership. No Prime Minister has ever stood as strong as she has. We saw it from 2010 to 2015, But I think, I think we've seen some means where we call it KPB 2.0. KPB 2.0 is a leader on a mission to fix this country in any form or fashion. She's on a mission to stand for what is right, and she's on a mission to do what it takes to ensure safer homes, safer communities, a safer country, and communities with jobs, with an opportunity. And I think I thank the Prime Minister for those very, very strong positions and for her ability to not waver from it, because we are seeing the benefits today. So my closing comment is for the people of this country to continue to have faith in the Prime Minister, because every decision, every action, every form of cooperation, and every element is based on their well-being. So continue to have faith in our government, continue to have faith in our Prime Minister. And again, a wonderful thanks to my constituents who have allowed me to be here, to sit in the Parliament, and to work for them in our government.
Yeah, and I must say, and I think I speak for many people who are online, who are watching, you were definitely fiery on Friday. And I want to say that we are seeing, day by day, every time you stand up to make a contribution, you keep getting stronger and stronger. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Mikey. It's because I look at guys like yourself who have set the tone, set the pace for us. Patriots like you have set that fight for a very long time, and we look up to you, and I thank you very much, Mikey.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Do enjoy the rest of your evening.
You too, bro. Thanks a lot.
The Observer.